Hello and welcome back to another Strong Collectors Live. I apologize for my tardiness. I tell Jordan every time we get on to record, one of these days I'll have solid internet connection and no hiccups, no holdups. It's not this day, but someday.
Eventually.
Um,
It will
did
happen.
you were doing a lot of toy hunting today on this beautiful Memorial Day, Jordan. What
I was.
were you able to find?
Yeah, so I was able to find a local store here had a 25% off sale. So I ended up getting a NECA figure. It was a kick-ass figure from the movie, which I've seen those before, but I've never had one. And it was like, I don't know, 12, 13 bucks. So I was like, that's not too bad. And he had the batons, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty good quality. So I'm going to figure out how to get him displayed. And then they also had it was a DC Collectibles Doomsday Clock. So some Watchmen figures, both a Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias for it's pretty cheap. I don't know, probably like $22 for two of them. So,
that's
not like
good.
an investment piece.
And those are
but I was
surprisingly
like,
good figures.
Yeah, they're pretty well articulated, I gotta say. And they did a couple 2-packs when that came out. So I'm excited to have those, and I know they don't do much in the way of Watchmen figures. I think it's also kind of complicated because of licensing, different things like that. So they don't do a lot. But I thought those would be cool to have. And then I got some things for you. I got to do more research on them, but they're from, it says, the Stan Winston creature effects, which he was a pretty big time, Hollywood makeup effects designer guy. He did American Werewolf in London, Terminator, I think Predator, maybe Alien. He did a bunch of design stuff. So I'm not sure if he had his own figure line, but they seem to me to be just kind of more its own thing. It's like Wolf Warriors. One's got a battle axe and a shield.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you looked
I was
them up
looking
at
it up
all.
too, and it looks like Realm of the Claw is what it's called. And it looks like it was just a one series thing. And I think there's a comic book also, because I was looking, and I think on eBay or Amazon or whatever it was like $75. So I don't know if that was a single issue comic or what it was. But
well, it
I thought the
looked
figures
right up
looked
your
pretty cool.
alley, Dakota. So I had to snag them, and those are both 25% off too. So $15 each. One of them had a base and stuff and alternate heads. So they looked like they'll go great with your Legions and or Savage Crucibles. Or even you could have them, I don't know if they quite mix with your Animal Warriors, but they reminded me of that line. So some different applications. But those were kind of the big acquisitions for today. Got a couple comic books. Yeah, there were those interesting ones I was talking to you about too from the Tick. What was that called? The Long Box Collection.
Long Box Heroes, yeah.
Which, as we looked, those are still on Big Bad Toy Store. You can get them for $25, but they're like the Tick. I'd like to get the Madman one. That's high on my list. But a bunch of different kind of retro 90s heroes. So, yeah, some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. Should we get into today's topic?
Absolutely.
So, over the weekend, Todd McFarlane was at, what was it, Phoenix Fan Fair or something like that? Yeah. So pretty much Phoenix's version of Comic-Con. That's his hometown. So makes sense that he would be there. Doesn't have to go too far, but had quite a few reveals. We'll warm you up with some of the easy stuff first, and then we'll get into the big topic. So got your superpowers line. If you've been watching Strong Collectors, like I know you all have, you already knew that these were coming. I've been watching our leaks. After this, we're recording some fresh leaks, so stay tuned. And I think I want to do an update on the Marvel Legends leaks, and I figured if we're going to be doing that, we might as well do a McFarlane update too. So kind of do a check off of here's what we said was coming, these already came, and these are still on the horizon. So we'll do that probably in June, just a mid-year check-in. He also showed off Darkseid, and this one we also leaked, but this is plastic version that we were hoping it would be. So how do you feel about this one, Jordan?
I'm a little. I mean, overall, I think it looks fine. I'm very confused by the cape, and I've seen some comic panels of Darkseid with the cape. It really doesn't seem like that's like iconic to me. And it looks kind of weird. I mean, were you gathering? It looks like you'd have to pretty much mod it to get that off.
I think so, because it looks like that like medallion thing that's on his neck is like glued in
on there, right?
which is where the cape all attaches to. So
yeah, it looks like you could maybe you think it's got an alternate head there, right? You think?
Yeah, that's two heads. So you got the regular head, and then you've got the Omni Beam head.
I mean, for a classic,
and then alternate hands too.
Yeah, outside the cape, I think it looks pretty good. But to me, it feels like it has to be. This one's coming out, and you're going to get one without a cape eventually. And then you might just have to decide whether you want to get it now and cut the cape off, I guess, make it work.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't think there's a bunch of people who are excited for the cape, but maybe I've been reading.
No, I agree. But I think that this is Todd doing that thing where he's like, if we don't have enough plastic in the box, it's not worth what we're asking, versus just give the people the exact thing they want. And that's what they're asking for. It doesn't need to have the extra plastic in the box, which is kind of like how I felt about the HasLab, where it was just too big for my display. Like I probably would have paid the same for a few less inches. Is that what she said? I don't know. But
that's good.
I think that's similar to this, where I would assume, because this is going to be a mega fig, so probably 40 or 50 bucks. There went Jordan, one of us has got to bop in and out, how we go. But I would assume this is going to be like 50 bucks. And then I still would have paid the same price if it didn't come with a cape. But I think he thinks, if I put a wired cape in here, that adds value. And they're going to think like, 50 bucks, this is a steal. It comes with a wired cape. It doesn't need the cape. If the cape was like on and off, I'd be like, this is sweet. I can have him with a cape, or I don't have to have him. I don't have to chop him up and have those loose bits of glue. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's like, it's more valuable because it has a cape, but I feel like there's very few people who picture Darkseid with a cape and or will want to display him with a cape.
Right. So again, I don't think it's like a terrible thing. Like this is still leaps and bounds better than the movie version, I think. But it's right there with the rest of McFarlane stuff, where it's right there, but
almost,
it's not
so close.
All right, After Dark. So this goes up for pre-order tomorrow. So if you do want this, I'll put it up on our community page, and you can use our affiliate links to send us a quarter. He also talked about the posed statues. Superman's got the wired cape as well. He was real excited about how it can stand up straight if you want it to stand up straight, which, is fair, because I think he maybe started out with the wired capes or just the cloth capes, and they were kind of Lego looking capes. Now it seems like he's improved. And
Lego capes. That's good. Did you hear that, or did you just start calling?
Yeah, that was, I think Fabio called him that on the ACBA podcast.
Lego capes. That's pretty good.
But so you got the Superman and Wonder Woman coming out.
I also, before we get too into it, I love Todd's turtleneck he's got going on.
Yeah,
at that event.
Very, very fashionable, this guy.
All right, so cape can go any way you want.
Yep. I don't know if they just said these were coming out in the summer, 12-inch. They come with the digital figure as well. So he went on a big spiel about the digital figures too, of like, there's a lot of haters for them, but if you're in India and you don't have a big place and you're just in a small apartment, you can't buy all these figures. Now you can buy the digital figures and you're still collecting. I guess that makes sense. I mean, that's interesting that he's thinking that far outside of figures, but it just kind of still seems like it's in that like NFT speculative type of collecting that didn't really pan out that well. I mean, for some it, worked out well, but I think the NFTs have kind of crashed since, but Todd's still going to push forward and see if it pulls off. But
you never know.
At least get your physical figure and your digital figure. All right. You haven't missed the Marvel talk yet. We're just warming up to it. I think we got, it might be the next slide after this, but I was thinking you would be jonesing for this, a 1-to-1 scale.
Yeah.
89 Batman.
89 Batman cowl. But, I mean, it's definitely cool. Huge. That is huge. That is very, I mean, that's part of my issue with that, Dakota, is a space thing. I mean, even if I put that up, it would take up a lot of space. And like I have the Pattinson Batman cowl popcorn bucket, and I usually don't even have that in this place because it's just it's kind of hard to fit in. So it's definitely cool, especially I think the price point, wasn't it supposed to be about 100, or did we know that for sure?
He said $100 for this.
That's pretty good. For that, which I gotta say,
it's plastic, so usually it's a lot of plastic.
A lot of plastic.
But he was saying that like by doing that versus the resin, then that makes it $100 versus where if you got this from other companies, usually they're charging more like 500 plus. So he's putting out a cool product for cheaper. He was saying it's going to hold up a little bit better to like, if it gets knocked around, it's not going to break as easily. I would still assume if this takes a dive off your top shelf, it's still going to snap in half, but you know, kind of a cool.
It's definitely cool. I mean, if I had more space, probably that'd be something to think about.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of just cool for like what, I don't know, because Marvel Legends does the 1-to-1 things, but I've never really been that pumped about any of them. Maybe like a Captain America shield, but I've never held it. I just feel like it would be more flimsy than I would expect. Whereas this just to me screams a lot more like, whoa, that's worth the money. Even though I think Marvel Legends stuff is on the same price. I don't know. I've never really looked too much into it, but anyway. Yeah. Now we get into the Marvel stuff. This is going to be his Wave 1. He announced that he finally got the partnership. He was excited about doing his own art that he did Spider-Man stuff. He's done Hulk and Wolverine, and now he actually gets to make figures of those. These are more statues, but I think like technically they're posed figures because they're made out of plastic. You have to make it out of resin to consider it a technical statue, but you're not going to be able to articulate these or anything. It's not like this is going to be coming to a similar like DC multiverse line. And I wonder too if that's part of like, since Hasbro has the 6-inch license for making figures, if he was only able to get this because he was doing posed figures and not articulated. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, but he says he's going to do the Spider-Man, this Deadpool, Iron Man, and then Wolverine. I was kind of thinking it was going to be like, if he was doing this Deadpool cover, you were going to get Deadpool and Gideon, you were going to get Cyclops and Wolverine, but I think those are going to be separate statues or, figures, whatever. I don't know if I have the actual, so there's the actual statues of them. So you could, I guess, if he puts out a Gideon, just stick them next to each other, put Cyclops kind of behind Wolverine there. I don't think it's going to be as cool as if they came together, but it probably helps keep the cost down. Out of this Wave 1, Jordan, you got anything you're tempted by? Because I think these are also pretty cheap too. He was saying they're going to be 1/6 scale and 1/10 scale, I think. And I think the 1/10 figures were going to be, I want to say, you can correct me because I know he said it on Shardimus's interview, but I think it was 30 to 50. I feel like 50 was like on the high end, and then I think for the 1/10 scales they were going to be 50 to 75. I can't remember the exact price points. I think they're out there though. So fairly cheap compared to like getting an actual statue. I know Diamond Select does statues too, so I think it's going to be on par with what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I figured maybe saving it. I thought like right out of the gate, if he's saying I'm doing a McFarlane Spider-Man, and I know Dakota, I want it to be from Torment, whether it's the crouched one or there's a part of me that could be tempted if he did like the torn mask, torn up Spidey suit cover would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. version of Spider-Man that we're seeing doesn't excite me too much. I don't know. I mean, it's just for me. If you like these, that's
Mm-hmm.
great. But for me, if it's like a statue, I think I'd want it. I don't know. They're kind of vanilla poses to me a little bit. I mean, they're okay, but in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of like for me, if it's a statue, it's gotta kind of be its own thing, right? Like I could pose Wolverine like that in the context of a display, but
There goes Jordan again. I think for me, like I can tell he's trying to do like the same exact poses coming straight off the covers here, and he was saying that it's not just going to be covers; it'll also be interior as well. So you'll get, maybe because he was saying maybe some of his best art isn't on the cover of his comics, it might be an interior shot, like a fight scene or big reveal type of thing. So I'm interested to see what they pull from interior. Welcome back, buddy.
McFarlane did not like what I was saying, and he kicked me out. I know he's watching.
We've
No,
been
to
hacked,
finish,
and Jordan got
right?
the boot.
Yeah, I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
for me personally, I'd like a little bit more going on with these. If that's what floats your boat and you like them, go for it. I'd be curious to see what he does moving forward, though, like whether he gets into, like his Hulk, like you said, his Hulk Wolverine stuff. I think is pretty cool.
So what he was saying was, that, so like this is all from cover art. He also wants to do things from interior art. This is also all from different artists. Can't remember. So it's like McFarlane, Spider-Man, Liefeld, Deadpool. I think this is John Romita, Iron Man, possibly. And then a Jim Lee Wolverine,
of course. Yeah.
So he wants to do kind of pull in different artists from different eras to do not only cover arts but interiors. But every wave of these post figures is going to come with a McFarlane. So whether it's always 4 figures or not, at least one of those is going to be something that he's drawn.
Okay.
So, which I think makes sense. It's fair. He was like, "This is my line. I'm going to do my stuff. So deal with it." Which is probably the same attitude I'd have. So I don't know if that's kind of what I was going to ask you too, is what artist, or is there like an iconic like Marvel thing that you would want to see that would tempt you? Because like these are all, I think they're all okay. I just don't think with space being a limiting factor for us, I don't think that any of these are going to make their way into my collection.
Yeah.
But there is potential down the road. Like if he does a Red Hulk's one of my favorites, so I would probably consider that pretty highly. So
yeah,
I was wondering what would be your maybe wish list
of like any kind of cover or something like that.
Yeah,
you mean, or
any
exterior?
art,
I think a cool art piece to get would be the old school Spider-Man. I don't remember what issue, but he's lifting all the machinery off of him with the water. You've probably seen that before, where it's like he's pinned down, and it's kind of this, he has this internal monologue, and then flips the piece off. That's a pretty iconic panel that I think would be cool to see.
Right.
So some kind of Spider-Man. I mean, I wouldn't be buying like 5 versions of a Spider-Man statue, but if I saw one that was really cool, of course, like I said, the Torment stuff would be neat to see. I
mean, I could totally see this if you had like a graded comic or something like that you wanted to pose, like Spider-Man's like coming off the page from that comic that you really like, or something. Like if he made an Ironheart from the or really any Ironheart, I'd probably buy it. But if it was off the graded comic I have, I would probably get that too.
Yeah. So I think as I think about it, there are probably some that I'd be intrigued by, but I think for me it'd definitely be more like this one of this character. I wouldn't see myself getting multiple McFarlane Spider-Man statues by any means.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what he does moving forward.
Yeah, I could see like a cool, like Silver Savage. That would be a cool one to pull from the Planet Hulk storyline. if you were going to do something in addition to Hulk. I'm sure he's going to do his own McFarlane Hulk. I would probably lean more Ed McGuinness type Hulk. If he did anything Tim Sale, I think we're going to probably do a whole Strong Collector Comics episode on Tim Sale, but I would be tempted to get those. Sort of reminds me, I was doing an eBay watch of one of his comics and I might have missed it, but that's all right.
Shucks.
So yeah, Tim Sale stuff I'd be tempted by. Maybe like George Perez Avengers, something like that. I don't know if there's really anything modern era that I would be too crazy about, but I think it's going to be kind of one of those, like, if I buy one of them, that's probably going to be the only one I ever buy. So I got to be real picky about it. So I don't know about you, like in the chat, what do you guys think of? Is there like an artist doing a certain character that you're like, oh, Jay Woods says a Frank Miller Daredevil? I know you're a big fan of that kind of storyline, right, Jordan?
I could see a cool Frank Miller Daredevil for sure. I think that would look good as a statue. Yeah, Daredevil would be cool. Trying to think. You know me, Dakota, there's always a monster or two I'd probably want if I got like a sweet Man-Thing statue or something like that.
Yeah. And that's not really like an action figure that you would need to pose around too much too.
Yeah, maybe that would be the point where it'd be like, do I even need a figure of this, or would I just rather get like a statue and kind of make it look cool? And that could be the advantage of a statue if you have some characters that are maybe like, I don't know if I need to do all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I see somebody said Silver Surfer. I could see some cool Silver Surfer artwork.
True.
That you could pull from. Maybe like Orion Stegman Venom from the Donny Cates stuff. I always liked his art style. That I feel like, I mean, that is to me the advantage of the statue, right? Is with a statue, it's like you can use a particular artist's art, whereas like even King in Black as a Marvel Legend, it really wasn't to me quite in the style of art from the books, right? So
yeah.
Depending on what he does, I think there are some really cool things.
You can get yourself a Conan, Jordan.
A little classic comic Conan. That would be pretty sweet.
Kirby
thing. Yeah, any Jack Kirby stuff, if he's able to do that. I don't know how that all breaks down, but I think he can make some sweet looking Kirby figures.
Yeah. I think I mean, I kind of like the packaging on this looks cool. I just think with the cardboard, I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of is like, I don't usually keep the scenes from my Mythic Legions, and the Mythic Legions art is going to be way cooler than anything that's going in these boxes. So yeah, I don't know how well, but also we don't have these in hand yet. So I will be interested to see some in-hand reviews of these. Although just like, I think of like doing Marvel Legend in hand reviews, you're like, oh, here's the articulation, the swivels, the cuts, the paint. This is just like, here's a statue, here's the paint. And that's kind of about the end of it.
Right.
But still.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you see it, you figure out what it is, right? It's very difficult to be like, in hand, the statues. I don't know. Maybe it's different, but yeah.
Yeah. I did hear some like kind of, I don't know if it was you that said it or if it was just, I think it was a commenter on one of our last videos saying that now that McFarlane has the Marvel and DC license, what are the chances we get some amalgam statues here? There was a Dark Claw statue. I would probably get the Dark Claw statue.
That would be cool.
So
the little Dr. Doomsday action.
If we can get Todd on the show, I'd love to ask him those questions because those are the ones that matter.
I did see a comment on the, does this work? I hit show on stage. Does it not work?
No.
Someone commented Dante's Toys on the NECA Vincent Price figure. I will comment on that. I did see that. I think that looks really cool. And I'm probably going to have to get that one. So Dakota Vincent Price, old school horror actor. So it's like they're doing a toy of him, but he was kind of master of the macabre in a lot of different horror projects, and kind of he did the narration for Michael Jackson's Thriller. If that,
yeah, he's in a bunch of the Scooby-Doo Incorporated cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the characters in there. That's what I know him from.
All right. So yeah, his actually figure looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie. So yes, I did see that, and I'm excited for
it. Jay Wood says that he doesn't like coming on for. I don't know. He came on with us when we had nobody, and then he just did an interview with Shartimus. So I think there's a chance. Here's an idea, and maybe nobody steals it, and I don't know if our wives even want to do this, but I think it would be cool if we could get Sam and Savannah to interview Wanda, his wife. Ooh. I just think that'd be kind of interesting. Or maybe, I mean, we might have to do it because I don't know if Savannah's really wanting to interview anybody, but I just think that would be interesting to hear, like, from his partner's perspective, what it was like for him to start out, rise the ranks, start his own company, what it's like now. So, yeah, I mean, he's probably the biggest name in comic books still alive right now, right?
As far as like
probably most recognizable, and like,
I think definitely as far as like outside of you're a recognizable writer or artist, like he both had kind of a historical presence, and then also works in toys and has working on the movie stuff, and I think as far as like being his own shot caller, I think is probably the most, like, the guy who took being a writer / artist and like springboarded it into a career beyond just I do different books.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, I'm trying to think of other people in comics that are like at the top. Like, I think Jim Lee is another big one, but I don't think, like, I would imagine a lot of people wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd as much as they could Todd McFarlane. Like, Todd makes sure like he is known.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Anything else on the Marvel license for?
I don't think so. I saw a comment saying, could this end up in figures? I see that being a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
For him to get to that point. I think he'd have to really make some moves, or Hasbro would really have to screw some stuff up for that to happen.
I think Hasbro's on top of their game right now. I don't think he's going to take anything from them at this. But if this was a couple of years ago, I would have said, yeah, give it to him. But yeah, Marvel Legends is just crushing it right now. So I don't think they're going to lose the license or anything. And he just got the DC license like renewed for, I don't know, a couple of years or something like that. So maybe we'll have to see if our wives want to do a live for us and just answer listener questions.
I'd actually love to see that.
That would be fun. All right, upcoming episodes for Strong Collectors, and then maybe we can just do a couple questions if there are any, but otherwise we can get to recording. The next tomorrow, we're going to have another episode of Two Guys Talking About Three Guys Talking. So Dan Hu got to interview Dan Yoon on his channel, but as you're watching some of these, you can kind of tell like there's questions that you can't ask and questions that can't be answered, and like some reactions or guesses that you probably don't want to just be like taking up the time of your guest to speculate on. So that's where Jordan and I come in. We get to fill in those gaps. We get to speculate with you all. So kind of go through the interview, talk about what they talked about, and then go a little bit more in depth. After that, we're going to have a Wave 3 speculation for X-Men 97. Show's wrapped up. We kind of know all the characters that could be in another wave if it was going to be based off of season 1, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to pull figures from season 2 or not. So it'll be interesting. How do you like these mock-ups for digital renders here, Jordan?
Did you make those, or
where'd
you get those?
No, this I got from somebody in the Facebook groups, Austin. I can't remember his last name. I'll credit him in the show, but
they look good.
He'd been doing these, and I was like, "Hey, I need some stuff for a thumbnail. Can you make these?" So I was going to have him do this for X-Force, but I forgot. So
that looks cool. I like it.
Try to have him do this for some of our speculations as we go forward. But yeah. What was I going to say? X-Men 97. I watched that last night. Watched episode number 5 again. Got my wife to watch it. She wasn't as blown away as I was, but I was even more so blown away last night. It was best animated episode ever. I'm going to stick to that until the day I die, or until they do another episode better. But
until season 2.
Until season 2. I probably will go back and rewatch all of those, but I've already seen episode 5 4 times now. So 4, 5. It might be 5 times now. It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could probably do maybe a full episode. Maybe this will be next week's live if we don't have anything else to talk about, just like speculating where they could take the animated show and what we would want to see. So, but overall, I was pretty happy with how it went. I was skeptical at first, and then as soon as I heard the first theme song, I was like, never mind. This is going to be great.
And it only went up from there.
Right. Let's see. Do you know who Rich M is? Oh, is that who is on?
I don't know. Rich.
Nope, that's Jay. I don't know who Rich M is.
What does SME mean?
I don't know either. Dante's Toys, we're going to need a deciphering on...
We're going to need some explanations, bro.
Oh, is Rick the co-host of Dan's... Dan who? Yeah, okay. That's... I do know who that is.
What is an SME, I haven't watched enough.
Yeah, I don't know what SME means.
I hope it's a compliment.
SME for... yeah, I don't know. Somebody's going to have to let me know the slang. Keep me hip with the kids. 2 questions. Rogue and Cable are going to be hard to get now since X-Men 97 is so popular. It's going to be hard to get. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, I think Rogue was kind of starting to get hard anyway. And Cable, yeah, the new Cable was already hard. So, yeah, those are probably going to be 2 challenges. I think, honestly, those figures are selling pretty well. So, I think Nightcrawler is going to be another challenging one. They're all still, or not all, but a lot of them are still available. So if there's any like, ooh, I kind of want to get that one, you probably should jump on that, because Dan was saying in that little sneak peek, it takes 13 months for them to do a reissue. So you're not going to get a new Wolverine anytime soon. So might as well grab these other ones. Yeah, somebody else had commented on an older post of not an older video, but a couple weeks ago, about The Rock being from the Sentinels.
Yeah,
from the video game, which I remember that being, somebody kind of made that speculation as soon as The Rock was teased like that day. So that's just kind of recirculating now, which kind of makes me think, like, Jordan, just because news is old news doesn't mean that it's not going to be popular news again. So maybe we need to take a look back at like some speculations or something and try to like repopulate it. Because I've seen a few like YouTube videos being like, oh, we cracked the code. I was like, oh, this code has been cracked for months now.
Right.
I think. So, anybody saying that they were the one to crack the code,
go back.
Don't know about that. Go back and I don't know. You'd have to go back to probably the Facebook groups. Honestly, I have no idea who it was though.
So we talked about it on our thing. So.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, subject matter expert is what that means, Jordan.
Oh, well, I'm honored to be considered as a subject matter expert on Marvel Comics. I don't feel like you might be overselling me on that, but I will take it.
I don't know about from BBTS, but we got them from Amazon quite a while back, and then I actually just saw last week they had one at my local comic book shop, which I was tempted to pick up because I was like, feel like Sabretooth himself goes for the price of the 2-pack, but I was like, oh yeah, I think so. I think he goes even more than the 2-pack, honestly. I mean, it depends on where you're selling it, but I think if you took it to eBay, you could maybe get lucky and get 60 for it, because the 2-pack was 50, right? Just 2 standard figures. Yeah, that's good. So, normally don't buy 2-packs. I do. Beast from BBTS. I don't know. I got mine. I don't remember where I got mine. I think I got mine in the groups because I ordered it originally from GameStop. I think that was when we were in New York together. I ordered Beast and Scorpion and Ghost Rider, and then like none of them came forever, so I just canceled them and ordered them somewhere else. Dante's Toys. Did I receive my Gods of Ancient Egypt? I did. I won't show you guys my address. You can't even really see the box, but there's a box there.
Wait, what is that?
That's the Gods of Ancient Egypt, the figure obscura.
That's gotten to you already?
Yeah, I got it on Thursday.
Wow.
Thursday? No, I guess it was Saturday. I was going to work, but yeah.
Quick.
Yeah. First figure obscura. I think you're going to be happy. I think I'll probably sell off some of the extra pieces just because I don't need the diorama stuff, and I'll probably do pop and swaps and well, they come with a bunch of heads, so I'll probably do that, but I think they're going to be cool. I just haven't had the time to open them. Whenever I open my figures, I want to sit down and really focus on them. So
yeah,
that's just me. Let me look here real quick. Folks, we've only got 9 likes on this video, and there are 19 of you here, so there should be a few more likes on there. Hit the like button. Do that.
Sorry.
Do it for Jordan. Do it for Jordan.
He's
quick.
Dying. Why you still have him here?
Let me look at the comments. All right, if that was the case, I hope it's 12 inch. I've been saying I want a 12-inch Sentinel forever. Not smaller.
Dakota would be a very happy man with a 12-inch Sentinel.
Right.
He will buy 15. Just kidding. But
I was curious.
You want to get a couple.
I would, and it would probably depend on the price, on how many I would buy. What do you like? The price would probably be similar to Hulk, or probably similar to Super Adaptoid, where it would be like $70.
Jeez, that'd be rough.
I know, at that rate, I can't really get more than 2, if I even try to get 2. But I mean, those are ones that I think that's an army builder, so people are probably going to build their armies and sell out, and I'm never going to be able to get one.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'd probably get 2 because I want to. Would I get a third to try to flip down the road after it goes up in price? Not right now because I don't have a place to store it, but I would probably try to talk Jordan into doing that. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Titan Heroes. I don't know if I've ever seen that one. I got the 3 3/4 line. I have that one, but that's kind of too small for Legends. I have to look at the Titan one. Maybe if I can find that on Amazon, I'll put that up on our community page, because that does sound like people would like that.
Yeah.
Price.
We'll have to see.
All right.
Maybe we could do that later, a speculative Sentinel thing or something.
Yeah, I think that could be
closer.
Yeah.
What would you pay for a 12-inch Sentinel?
Yeah. I think the buzz for it right now is hot, so maybe we have to rework some stuff, and I don't know if we're going to do it today, but we'll see what kind of time we've got. Maybe you can expect that next week, but until then, make sure you like the live stream. Leave us comments on what you think. And until next time, stay strong.